Welcome to PSY 420, otherwise known as Psychological Assessment. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Gordon Capoletti, and I will be your instructor during this semester. This is a course I have taught multiple times in the past. I really enjoy teaching this course, and one of the reasons I enjoy teaching this course is because the primary focus of my psychological practice is psychological assessment. I have found in the past that there are generally two groups of students who take this course. The first group of students is genuinely interested in the process of psychological assessment, what psychological assessment is, what its purpose is, the various different ways that assessments are done, how do you do a psychological assessment, and so on. The second group of students take the course because it fits neatly in their schedule. They need this course in the topic area for their major, and it just seemed to be a good thing to do. For those of you who are in the first group and are truly interested in psychological assessment, I think you will really enjoy this course and will get some very valuable information from it and leave the course with a much better idea of what psychological assessment is. Those of you who are here simply because the course fits neatly into your schedule, there was no other course available, you need to satisfy this dimension in the requirements for graduation. Well, this course may not be as much fun and it might not be the most interesting course that you will take. I will try to convince you otherwise and try to engage you and help you see by the end of the semester that this really is interesting and very useful stuff, but it may not be. Anyways, the course is something that I like to teach, and we will take a look at what it is composed of. When you log on to the course in Canvas, this is what you will see. This is the home page, and this page here shows um, basic information about who I am, how to get in touch with me, and so on. Also, notice that I put on the home page this big announcement here that yes, indeed, we will be meeting during final exam period. There are 25 of you who have signed up for this course, and my past experience is a good predictor of future experience. There will be at least one or two of you who will come up to me at the end of the semester and say, Dr. Capoletti, I can't attend the final exam period because my parents have bought me a ticket to come home. I'm going to say, well, go home. I certainly don't want your parents to be out all that money, but there is a penalty for not attending the final exam period. So keep that in mind. There is a substantial penalty for not doing that. Anyways, having said that, and really, for those of you who are conscientious, it doesn't matter. Those of you who are marginal in the conscientious dimension, well, keep it in mind. Anyways, over here on the left are the various different navigation issues. Home takes you to where we are right now. Announcements is how I'm going to communicate with you over this semester. In other words, if I change the syllabus, if we have bad weather, if Lenorine has some sort of freaky thing happen, this is where we will communicate with one another. I will put out an announcement that you can read and respond to if you feel so inclined. The syllabus, we're going to go over this next. The syllabus is probably the most important part of the Canvas site, at least initially. After the syllabus, then comes the modules, which are probably the most important part of the Canvas site after the first couple of weeks of class. The modules are where you will do most of your work for this course. Files section of Canvas, I have uploaded some really interesting stuff. I think it's interesting. Maybe you don't because you're not a psychology geek like I am and not really into this stuff. But if you are a psychology geek and really into this stuff, there is some really important stuff in the file section of Canvas that you might want to take a look at. Those of you that want to keep an eagle eye on your grades, I will keep the grade book updated pretty regularly. Those that have had me in the past know that I generally keep this updated, not too badly. It does it reasonably well. Uh, and then assignments and people and so on. But we're going to go right now. We're going to go to the syllabus. So when you click on the syllabus, this is what you will get. And here we are. Syllabus again, information about me, how to get in touch with me. Yes, we are meeting during final exam period. All that other good stuff. Now down here, it tells you what the prerequisites are. While taking statistical methods in psychology may not, strictly speaking, be a prerequisite, I strongly recommend it because the first 3 or 4 weeks of the class, we're going to be really heavily involved in things like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, percentile ranks, and so on. These are concepts that are extremely important in psychological testing. So we're going to cover those in a great deal of detail. Even after the first couple of weeks, we're going to continue to use standard scores and percentile ranks as we try to understand what the test scores are telling us about an individual's functioning in a particular area. So this is so that is the only real prerequisite for this course. Moving down along, we have the course description. We've got the required books and materials. The only really required book is the Urbina book, Essentials of Psychological Testing. I got this book because number one, it contains all the basic information you need to know about psychological testing. And number two, it is extremely cheap. Is this the best book out there? Maybe, maybe not. The gold standard for psychological testing books is the one by Kaplan and Sakuzo, which runs for $275. No, 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 no. I am not going to ask students to spend $275 on a single textbook. No, 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 no. The Urbina book is about $25, $30. I forget exactly what it is, but it is a relatively inexpensive book and covers all the basic ground that we need. Course outcomes are here. Methodology, I'm going to be doing a lot of talking. Unfortunately, that's just the type of course this is. You can ask questions. Please ask questions. I love questions. You can correct me. You can say, Dr. Capoletti, I don't think that's correct. And if you are right and I am wrong, then I have learned something and you have just gotten an A for the day. Anyways, so I do want you to comment. I want you to discuss. I want you to engage, but I'm going to be doing a lot of talking. Now, this is what students are really, really interested in as the grading. What do you need to do to make it out of this class alive? Okay, so let's go over what the requirements of the course are. First one is the weekly homework assignments. These assignments are due Thursday before class. They're worth fully 1/3 of your grade, so do them and turn them in. There is a penalty for late homework assignments. Any assignment not turned in by the due date will be deducted 5 points. The assignment is 20 points. You get deducted 5 points, so you are already at a B minus if you turn it in late. The reason for this is that on Thursday, we will go over the homework assignment. It is not fair to the students who turned it in on time if you're sitting in the back of the room copying down all the answers so you can put it in the homework assignment. That is not fair to them, and it really doesn't tell me what you can do. And so there is a substantial penalty. Turn your homework assignments in on time. On time. Now, one of the things about the homework assignments is that the lowest 2 grades of the homework assignments will be ignored in the calculation of your grade. So if you bomb 2 homework assignments, no, it's not going to be a big deal because Canvas will ignore them when it calculates what your final grade is. Every Tuesday, we will start class with a Kahoot quiz. Those of you who have had me before know what the Kahoot quiz is, and I find this a very useful way to get you going, to get you thinking, and to ensure that you have done the readings and paid attention in class. The Kahoot quiz consists of questions that come from the textbook, that come from the module information, as well as information that comes from the previous lectures and the previous discussions. So take good notes and you should do well. Most students end up doing pretty good. The Kahoot quiz will have 10 questions, but it is only worth 8 points. So if you get 8 correct and get 2 incorrect, you've got 100%. So what if you get all 10 correct? Well, those 2 extra are extra credit. Use them wherever you want at the end of the semester. Then you have to do a test critique. You have to select the test by February 13th. I will bring in a list of all of the tests we have in our testing library. By the way, that list is in the file section of Canvas. You might want to check it out. You'll then select the test you want to critique. I will then make sure that we have all of the material necessary for you to be able to do an adequate critique, and then you can move on. The second part of the test critique is a summary of the research due by Friday, March 20th. This is where you will go out, get 5 journal articles, review the materials that you have of the test, and you will then present a brief overview of what the test is like. Finally, you will turn in your final critique on Friday, May 1st. Uh, you'll turn in your critique and you'll get graded and so on and so forth. So that is the test critique. There is then an online final examination in this class. That final examination is Tuesday, May 5th at 11 o'clock, but the final exam itself is an online exam, the online exam. It is due by the beginning of the class period because due by the beginning of the exam period, because during the exam period, we are going to review the test. And again, it's not very fair for those who have turned their test in on time for you to sit in the back of the room, copy down all the answers, and then put it on the test. That is not very supporting. Let's be fair. Let's be fair here. So there is a penalty for that as well. Okay, attendance, show up. Attendance is worth 10% of your grade. Show up. Come to class. Um, it is to your advantage to come to class. The rest of this here is okay. Extra credit. You can earn extra credit in this class. Multiple ways of doing it. Read this if you want to find out about doing extra credit. Ask me. I'll tell you what counts. But you can get extra credit if you want. Okay, weekly homework assignments. This covers the weekly homework assignments. Due Tuesday before due Thursday. Um, okay. Um, 60 minutes to do it, which is generally more than enough time. And as I said, 2 lowest scores will be ignored in the calculation of the final grade. Canvas ignores your 2 lowest scores automatically. Weekly Kahoot quizzes. Your 2 lowest Kahoot score quizzes will be ignored. Thus, if you're absent for 2 Kahoot quizzes, don't panic. Those will be the quizzes that will be ignored. No penalty. No penalty at all. Okay, test critique. I've already gone into this. These are the details. For part 1, this is what you need to do. Not going to go over it here because you'll forget. Part 2, this is what you need to do. And then part 3, this is what you need to do. Okay, follow this, look at this, pay attention to this. This is what you're going to be graded on, is what's in the syllabus. Final exam, as I said, the final exam will open at the end of the last class. You'll have to the beginning of the final exam period to get it done. Now, the final exam is split into 2 parts. First part is a knowledge part. Short answer, multiple choice questions, just testing whether or not you remember what we talked about. Second part is a practical part, an applied part, where I give you some examples. You got to calculate some things. You got to show me what you can do, not just what you know, but what you can do. You can take each of the parts of the final exam as many times as you want. However, you cannot take it after the due date for the final exam. Also, if you bomb one part of the final exam, you just need to redo that part of the final exam. You don't need to redo both parts of the exam unless you want to. Okay? Attendance, we have that there. Inclement weather policy. Should there be weather, should Stormzilla dump a foot of snow on Hickory or even 1 inch and Lenore closes down, we will have class via Zoom. Okay? You all know how to use Zoom. I know how to use Zoom. We'll have class on Zoom, which means that we can do a Kahoot quiz on Zoom. I've done Kahoot quizzes on Zoom before. not a big deal. During COVID, I was doing lots of boot quizzes on Zoom. Late work, don't be late. Don't be late. Uh, with the exception of the quizzes, if you are late, late work loses 5% of the total possible points for every week the assignment is late, with the exception of homework, which loses an automatic 5 points. Okay? Of course, policy on electronic devices, don't use your phone in class unless you've got an accommodation to use your phone. I find that students are so addicted to that some students, not all, some students are so addicted to their phones that they miss out on a lot of stuff in class because they're so busy hanging out with their phone. AI policy, read the AI policy. My attitude is AI is here to stay. We're not going to get rid of AI. Not going to wish AI away. I use AI. I'll tell you how I use it if you're interested, but I find it a useful tool. It's a tool like Google. It's a tool like any other tool we have. You can use it appropriately. I expect that your work is your work and not AI work. So read the AI policy. Then we have the institutional policies for LR, a lot of stuff. This is on every syllabus. And then we have the course outline. You can get a basic idea of the course from the outline here. Homeworks are due. You can click on these here to go to the homework assignments. So the outline of the course is here. Modules. Clicking on the modules brings you here, which has all of the information you need. Oh, you will need to download JASP during this course. I will talk about that in class, but you will need to download and install JASP on your computer if you haven't already. Everything you will need, I will put everything you need in the modules here. If it's not in the module, then let me know and I will attach it to the module. But everything you need to do, the things you need to do, will all be here in the modules. Again, the file section here, I've lots of really good information in the file section for you, lots of good tests, lots of good stuff. So check out the file section of Canvas, and that is about it. Now that I've taken you through the course, I'm not going to bore you any longer with any additional tidbits for the course or what's going on. I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday, January 13th at 11 o'clock in the morning. Please come prepared. Please come with questions. Please come with whatever. We will have a Kahoot quiz beginning at the beginning of class based upon the information in this video, based upon the syllabus. Read the syllabus. Read the syllabus. Okay. So make sure that you have taken a look at all that stuff. I'm not going to bore you any longer. See you later. See you on Tuesday. Have a great rest of your break.